Hey everyone, Thyworm here with 8 ways to get a 6th link in solo self-found. These are the most common strategies I use to get my 6 links in no particular order. In case you're new to the game, 6 links are weapons or body armor with 6 linked sockets, meaning you can support a skill gem with 5 support gems. The damage you get from this is multiplicative. Each extra support gem multiplies the damage by sometimes over 50%, so 6 links are highly sought after. But how do you get one in solo self-found if you can't just buy them off the trade site? An honorary mention here, and it may seem stupid, but you can just drop a 6 link. Yeah, it's a bit of a dumb option to mention in a video, but 6 links drop more often from certain locations, so I wanted to at least mention that. For example, corrupted items have a higher chance to be a 6 link. That means that corrupted strongboxes and Vaal side areas drop a relatively high number of 6 linked items. Overall, however, the chances of dropping a 6 link are still low, and that is far from reliable, of course. Our first actual method for creating a 6 link I simply call gambling, and this is one of the least deterministic ways to get a 6 link in my opinion. You can get 6 sockets on, for example, an armor and then throw Orbs of Fusing at it until you create that 6 link. Orbs of Fusing are a common drop in endgame. You can also trade them at the vendor. 4 Jeweler's Orbs can be vendored for 1 Orb of Fusing at Yina in the epilogue, for example. There are a few things you should know about this strategy. First, since this patch, it's possible to hold Ctrl, Shift and left click to spam any currency, including Orbs of Fusing. You don't have to click thousands of times anymore. As soon as you create a 6 link with an Orb of Fusing, it stops. You don't have to worry about destroying your 6 link. Second, you have a higher chance of success if the item has a higher quality. So use Armorer's Orbs or Blacksmith Orbs to increase the quality of the gear that you want to 6 link. Using fossils and some other methods I won't go into today, you can even get up to 30% quality gear. Third and last, it is still RNG. I think the average number of Orbs of Fusings that you need to 6 link an item on 20% quality gear is around 1200. That's the average. You can link it in 10 or spend 4000 and not link it at all. Needless to say, this is one of the least deterministic methods and in my opinion one of the worst. Also, farming this many Orbs of Fusing in solo self-found is a pain. Method number 2, bench crafting. This is very simple, but in your hideout there is a crafting bench. And once you have found the 6 link recipe, which I think drops somewhere in Act 8 of the campaign, you can turn 6 sockets into 6 linked sockets. Small pro tip on the crafting bench: in case you don't have the recipe, for all crafts you are missing, you can scroll down and the bench tells you where that craft is. The recipe for 6 linking an item costs 1500 Orbs of Fusing. It's a little more than the average you would spend gambling, but this is deterministic at least. Still, 1500 fusings, that's a lot in solo self-found. We're going to stick to Orbs of Fusing, but now focus on the Tainted Orbs of Fusing. Tainted Orbs of Fusing drop from Beyond monsters, and this league also from Tainted currency All Flames you can put on your maps. Tainted Orbs of Fusing are rare, but still fairly common, especially if you focus on Beyond for a bit in the map device and Atlas tree. What a Tainted Orb of Fusing does is either add or remove a link on a corrupted item. We use this in combination with bench crafting to create a 6 link corrupted item. Before I show you how, it is probably smart to tell you about a common use case here. One of the more common instances in solo self-found is that you find a good, fairly common unique. Let's say a Heri's Ire, something that is used in quite a lot of bow builds. What you would do with this is run an Alpha Temple, double corrupt it, or throw a Vaal Orb at it and just corrupt it, hope for good implicits, and if you hit it, you now want to 6 link it. You're not going to 6 link this unique armor piece up front because the double corrupt has a chance of destroying your item, like you see here with this Heri's Ire. But here I have a somewhat decent one, so how do you 6 link this particular item? First, you need to make sure it has 6 sockets, by either spending 350 Jeweler and Vaal Orbs, or spend Tainted Jeweler Orbs. Yes, this is a significant investment, but it also leads to significant results, and the great 6-linked double implicit unique chest armor can pretty much double your damage. Okay, here's the next step. Now you 4-link the item using the bench again in the hideout. The cost of this is only 5 Val Orbs and 5 Orbs of Fusing. That's really cheap. And from here you start applying the Tainted Orbs of Fusing. It either will go down to the 3-link or a 5-link. It's a 50-50 chance in theory. If it goes to a 3-link, you use the benchcraft again to create a 4-link and then you try again. If it hits a 5-link, you use another Tainted Orb of Fusing and pray to Chris Wilson for that 50-50, and now, with a bit of luck, you get your 6-link corrupted item. Of course, it is still RNG, but it is fairly deterministic. You have a 25% chance to hit a double coin flip, which is pretty good for an ARPG like this in solo self-found. Use this strategy only for corrupted items, however. Don't start corrupting gear just because you want to have a 6-link. There are much better ways to 6-link regular non-corrupted items. Talking about deterministic and still about Orbs of Fusing, there is a way using 1 Orb of Fusing to guarantee a 6-linked result, and that is by using the Omen of Connections. Omens are dropping all over the place in 3.24, but there's a decent chance you haven't seen this one. I haven't, at least this league. It's very rare, it doesn't seem to drop from monsters, and is therefore an exclusive reward from doing the ritual mechanic. Ritual will sometimes offer you the Omen of Connections as a reward. The way to use this omen is to put it in your inventory, travel to a fresh zone to make sure no other omens were triggered, as they can only do so once per zone, and then use an Orb of Fusing while this omen is in your inventory to guarantee the maximum links on an item. Make sure the item in question has 6 sockets or the maximum links isn't 6. Then, let's change the method a little bit and talk about Divination Cards. Divination Cards are rewards from either random or specific monsters, and they drop all over the place. The most common ones give you currency typically, but there are specific Divination Cards that give you 6-linked items as a reward. Examples of these Divination Cards that are quite common include the Porcupine for a 6-linked shortbow, the Chains That Bind or the Dapper Prodigy for a 6-linked armor, the Emperor of Purity for a 6-linked Holy Chainmail, or Imperial Legacy for a 6-linked Imperial Bow. The Divination cards in-game will not tell you where they drop, but the PoE wiki will. So head over there, I did it for you, and start figuring out where these cards drop. The Chains That Bind, for example, only drops in dungeons, so that is Cage, Cells, Dungeon, Pen, Chevron's Tower, the Control Blocks and the Slave Pens. You can kill monsters in these areas and they have a chance to drop the Chains That Bind. Collect 11 and there you have your 6-linked armor. Lily accepts Divination cards, you can turn them in with her. You can also invite her to your hideout. You can influence the drop chance of Divination cards using Scarabs. In particular, the Divination Scarab is very good for this, combined with those that add pack size. If you approach the situation like this, it's completely deterministic, assuming you farm relatively common cards. It will not take you all that long to get a 6-link. Just run the maps, use Divination Scarabs, those pack Scarabs, and have fun. Here, on a pretty juiced map, using my Strongbox Atlas, I've now farmed 13 The Chains That Bind cards, while I only need 11 in a single map. Related to the previous strategy and using the same mechanics, we can use Kirac Missions to farm those Divination cards. You earn Kirac Missions by completing Atlas maps, and you can run those on the map device. Each Kirac map has a specific objective, and one of those objectives is to find the stack of Divination cards. A stack here means a complete set, so all 11 of the Chains That Bind, for example. Let's say you want that 6-linked armor, and you now know which maps drop the card. What you can do is try and find Kirac missions that offer that map with the stack Divination cards as a mission. I admit this may seem a little convoluted, and it is, honestly, but you've gotta be creative in solo self-found. You will likely have those Kirac missions and likely a bunch of reports that change them, so what I tend to do is simply run all the ones which offer entire stacks of Divination cards. You'd be surprised what you find from time to time, and it is some nice variation to regular mapping. You will also notice that I've hidden even complete stacks of divination cards on my filter, but for you that's likely not the case, so they should show up. This is not a very deterministic method, as you first need to hit the right map with the right mission, and once you do, you also need to drop the correct stack. After all, any other generic div card could also drop in an entire stack, and there are no guarantees. I just wanted to make you aware that this is a decent strategy still and just a good pastime, and it's the primary way I use Kirac Missions in solo self-found, once I completed my Atlas bonuses of course. We're moving on to beast crafting. Hopefully, by now, you have met Einhar, the guy that loves beasts. You can capture beasts, go to the menagerie, offer beasts at the blood altar, and craft all sorts of gear and affixes. In 3.24, this patch, a new beast was introduced to the game, the Black Morrigan, who was previously a boss in other leagues. The Black Morrigan doesn't normally spawn, but only appears in a map if you use a specific scarab, the Scarab of the Shadowed Crow. This scarab is fairly rare, but you can use the Atlas tree to get more scarabs and block the ones that you don't want. I got quite a few by now, but I also play quite a bit. You really only need one though, for 2 6-linked items, so that's not too bad. What you do, you run an Einhar map, make sure that he's actually in the map, with the Scarab of the Shadowed Crow, and also with the Bestiary Scarab of Duplicating, so that when you capture the Black Morrigan, you get 2 copies for crafting. Then you head to the menagerie, and the blood altar is giving you a recipe to craft a 6-linked item. Any item with 6 sockets can be 6-linked using this, as long as the item isn't corrupted. This is a truly amazing way to 6-link armor and weapons, including unique ones, in solo self-found. It is new since this patch, but it's fantastic and it works like a charm. This mechanic is also here to stay most likely, as this is provided using a scarab and is part of the core game. That it's here to stay can probably not be said of the morgue crafting or grave crafting. As a matter of fact, it will probably get axed at the end of the league. It is way too strong, but until that happens, you can get your 6 links also using this method. There are 2 ways. With method 1, you first need to use a few corpses that reroll the number of sockets 200 times and keep the highest number. You need 6 sockets in order to 6 link after all. There's a bit of a risk that you only get 5, so I would just use a bunch of these corpses. They are very common. Then you combine this with a corpse that says reforge socket links 200 times, keeping the greatest number of links. Some betrayal safe houses offer similar rewards. 200 times sounds like a lot, but it isn't a lot. Remember, it will take around 1200 tries on average with gambling, so you would need 6 of these on average. The main issue here, of course, is that it isn't deterministic, but the corpses are free, and if you have them, just use them. You can pick a base of your liking, increase the item level to 86 if that's what you want, do a little prayer, and you may end up with a great 6-linked item. Method 2 is deterministic, but a little bit harder to get. This method uses another corpse, the one that states +1 to minimum number of linked sockets, up to a maximum of 4. A less common one says 5, so 5 links. And very rare, but they do exist, are corpses that state to a maximum of 6, guaranteeing the 6 link. You don't need to guarantee the sockets, this is an all-in-one craft. It creates the sockets and links them. So that makes it very easy as soon as you have the 6-link corpse, that is. Do make sure you also put 4 other corpses in with a 5-link next to the 6-link corpse, because you need to guarantee each individual link. So one corpse only states +1 to minimum number of linked sockets. Using one corpse guarantees 2 links, no matter what the corpse itself says. Using 2 corpses guarantees 3 links, and so forth. So you use 4 corpses that state that they guarantee a 5-link, or 3 corpses that guarantee a 4-link, 1 that guarantees a 5-link, and then you add to that the 6-link corpse. It's a little convoluted, hopefully this makes sense, as this guarantees the 6-link of your choice. Also the item description will actually tell you. And that's it, 8 strategies for getting a 6-link in solo self-found. Now go and get one, I hope you try one of these out, let me know what you think, let me know what your favorite one is, and let me know if you have any suggestions. Subscribe and like for more ARPG guides. Thanks for watching and all the support lately, I truly appreciate it. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.